Hey guys, welcome back to the Active Pending Sold podcast. I'm here with Mike Smuts. Today we're going to talk about something very important that crosses almost every single agent's mind, especially when they're coming into the business. And sometimes when they slow down in their own business, it gets them to rethink about things and where they're at in their business and how they can maybe be helped or maybe be trained in a better way. Or if they decide to leave an opportunity to be off on their own. And what I'm talking about is basically either if it's important to join a team or to become a solo agent. And so in this video and this podcast, we're going to discuss kind of our experiences in that. And you can make the decision, obviously, at the end of this, if whatever's going to be the best fit for you, because we're only here to tell you our experiences. But at the end of the day, you're probably going to make the decision because it is a very personal decision. I don't know
Yeah,
how you feel about it,
I don't
Mike.
know about you. I know I started on a team and eventually grew to become a solo agent. I think everybody's journey is a little bit different, and I want to. That's why we both wanted to bring this up because I started as a solo agent, and I remember thinking, or I started on a team rather. Sorry, I remember thinking, should I go solo? Should I stay on a team? I remember being solo when things slowed down and thinking maybe I should join a team. And everybody's journey is a little bit different, and there's no answer. Just a spoiler alert, there is no one size fits all answer we could give, but I think we should weigh the pros and cons of both and help whoever's listening this decide. I will.
Right, so I guess I could start off with my story. When I got into the business, I was in property management and I was getting paid a salary. And so I saw this opportunity online that I could become a showing agent and I could make up to $20 an hour. I ended up interviewing with somebody and it ended up being a 1099 position for real estate. So to become on a real estate team. So I was thinking about the opportunity. And at that time, my wife was pregnant with her baby,
It's her
our
baby.
baby,
You
not her
don't have
baby,
anything to do with it.
our baby. She had the baby in her. So, anyways, so she had the obviously we were having a baby, and so I wanted more reassurance that I was going to get opportunities, and so I took a deep dive and I went with that team, and they promised me basically an opportunity of generating leads and getting leads um, to me and closing a couple of deals a month, and so I took the jump of faith into the team. So, that was my main reason why, and if you're looking for that kind of, value where you
How
need to
long
be
did
held
you stay on
accountable, you
that
wanna be
team
treated kind of
before
like a
leaving? I know
family,
you're not on the team now. Okay.
6 months, and the reason for that was because of the uncertainty of getting my next
Mm.
payment, my next check. I guess you could say I started this business with, I think it was like $8,000. I told my wife our expenses were really low at the time. I told my wife, "Hey, let's just jump in. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna turn these 8,000 into 6 figures." And so, that was my main reason of jumping into a team. And once I started to get to know the business, I decided to leave, and I realized the endless possibilities.
So you
I
joined
don't know
a
about you,
team
Mike, but when you
to
joined,
essentially get leads and get business. Yeah, so when I first got my real estate license, I knew somebody who had a team. They were a friend of mine. They were actually the
there you go.
person that sold my parents' house when they moved. So I already knew them. So when I got my real estate license, they were obviously the first person I reached out to. So I ended up joining their team
Right.
before I even knew what a team was. I had no idea. That was at that point I thought brokerages like would interview you and they were gonna say no to you. So I was just happy to be able to be a real estate agent. Dumb little me. But I was on that team, and I think the benefits for me, if I could go back and I was to get my license now and I knowing what I know, I'd probably start on a team again. That's me. Now, you mentioned
Right.
accountability. What I liked about the team was not the accountability, not the leads, although that's a benefit. What I liked about the team was the personalized training. So I was mentored by my team lead, and each team's built different. But the team I joined, like, had Yeah, I
You found
had
a good team
people
then.
that that were there that would train me. They went on my first listing appointments and stuff with me, let me shadow them. So that's what I think the biggest benefit of a team is, in my opinion. Ultimately, why I left was they weren't
Right.
giving me any leads. So what's the point of my split?
And I think that's kind of a downside, like one
Yeah.
of the negatives for sure, is you have to be willing to pay for that mentorship in some way or somehow, whether it's with the split or a transaction fee or some sort of
Yeah.
percentage coming
Do you
off the
feel like you
top.
got value
They
when
want
you were on your
you
team, Will?
to no, yes and no. Yes, because I was able to learn more from that person, but it wasn't like a mentorship learn more. It was more like of me asking
Mm,
questions to learn more, me seeking out the information to figure it out. And so when I realized that that was difficult for me to figure out, uh, like it was difficult, like I wasn't getting mentorship and I wanted to become more of my own lead generator is when I realized that it was time to, like, dip out. How long were you on the team
8
for?
months, 9 months, and then I went solo. I actually
Yeah,
switched
so it's the
brokerages as
same
a
thing.
whole. I didn't just
I
leave the team. So
Oh, okay,
let's
got it.
rewind a little bit, right? Because we're assuming everybody knows what we know based off of this conversation. Well,
Right.
there's probably some people listening to this that are, you know, and I want this to be more of a conversation between us, like throwing the options and benefits but I do want it to be beneficial to people. So let's say there's a new agent, a person like me who doesn't even understand what a team is. Maybe we should talk about that, like how the structure, what we're even talking about, because
Okay.
that's possible.
Let's talk about it. So I'll tell you the structure of where I was at, and then that way you could get
Yeah.
perspective on how it operates. So in most cases, teams operate with an admin, one or two, usually a transaction coordinator, and then a specific admin. And then in most cases, they'll have maybe a photographer or a marketing
Yeah.
person on the team as well. So that's considered part of the team. So their pitch is basically you don't have to pay for nothing. So let's say, for instance, if you're prospecting, they're going to
Hmm.
pay for some of your systems. They're probably going to pay for
And if they
the
don't
team
run,
CRM. They're going to pay those
everything,
people. Yeah, they're going to pay those people salaries. They're going to pay those people
yeah.
salaries. They're going to pay a lot of things up front, so you don't have to pay for it. There's a caveat to that. I'll talk about it in a second, but that's probably the main structure of a team. And
Hmm.
then you're the agent. So it's made for you to stay in production as much as possible. That's
I
the purpose
think
behind it.
the future is real estate teams. Like, so let me explain, right? And I want to see if you're
The future's
I
here,
think,
bro.
yeah, we're
It's already
trending more and
happening.
more towards teams, right? Like a solo agent, like I'm a solo agent, you're a solo agent, but eventually our goal is to build our own team, right? I know mine is yours. I don't know if I ever
Yeah,
asked.
at some point, I
Yeah.
think when the response
Okay. So
yeah, mm,
what I mean is we're
it just
trending towards a
depends. I mean,
team aspect, right? It's getting harder and harder for solo agents to juggle everything. Not saying it's impossible, but especially if you're new. So, like for me, I'm a solo agent, so and you are. We lead generate. We're our own marketers. We wear a lot of hats. So the benefits, especially if you're new, is you have an experienced person and you're not wearing all those hats. Like you said, you were a showing agent. So what did you do? You literally showed properties. That's it. They had a list. A lot of them have a listing agent, a buyer agent. So they have people prospecting and finding leads for you. But that's the benefit of joining a team. You're working together. So if you're, I know that there's a lot of people who are meant to be on a team and were never meant to be solo agents. So there's people who aren't meant to be on team.
I think that's the difference between people who are okay with becoming being implementers, like,
Rocket.
you know what I mean? Like, they're willing to be an employee, and then there's other people that aren't, like, they're, like, more entrepreneurial, they're okay
Yeah.
with taking the risk and being on their own, and I think you have to distinguish yourself. Do you wanna be like a 9 to 5 person? Then join a team.
How
It
did
would probably suit
you
you better and get you into the culture of
Yeah,
real
so
estate,
I
you
know
know?
how I did, but I'm curious to see how did you find out you weren't meant to be a team member? You were meant to be solo and eventually grow your own team. What was that?
In my experience, what happened was I joined the team. I'm always been like a headhunter in business. When I worked at the bike shop that I worked at, I used to look for people who were trying to purchase items and drag them into the bike shop. When I was in property management, I was doing new business development, so I was bringing in accounts for the property management company. So
We're a
I've always been
go-getter.
kind of a hunter. And so when I got into the business immediately, I just started reaching out to my friends and family, and I got 3 deals from the jump. And then, at that point, I had to turn to my team leader and be like, "Hey, dude, I got 3 leads and I'm splitting this with you 50-50. Where's my money? Like, why am I investing half a percent on my own production from my sphere?" I think it was 60-40, whatever. It ended up
Yeah.
being 50-50 after splits. But anyways, um, I was like, "Where's my opportunities that you promised me?" You know? And so, long story short, I realized that I can produce on my own. I was self-sufficient. And then I jumped into a coaching program and I learned more because he wasn't my competition. I learned more from that coaching program than I ever did from the team leader. And so at
Funny,
that point I told him, I was like,
I had
dude,
a
I'm
very
taking
similar experience, right? So for context, if you don't understand what we're talking about, you don't know how a team operates. The you're normally, and every team's a little bit different. Normally, your expenses are low
hormone.
and minimal, right? Because the team leader pays for it, but they take a percentage of that. So mine was 50-50 as well. And I remember they taught me to they gave me some leads, but like not enough. They really taught me to generate my own leads. So at some point, once I had learned enough, like I got leads quickly, especially just like you, right out the gate, I started closing deals for my sphere. And I remember looking at the check, and like I thought these were supposed to be bigger. So I started doing the math and I'm like, why am I giving you 50% when I'm not getting enough
Right.
back? Like I was like, yeah, I could understand if you gave
Right.
me this deal. I didn't spend a dime to do it. You paid for the photography. Yes, 100%. I get it. And that's what's drawing about a team for a lot of people, especially if you don't like me. I don't know. You said you didn't have a lot of money, but like I had like $100 in my checking account when I got started in real estate. So joining a
Wow.
team was beneficial because they paid for my CRM system and some of my lead gen budget and everything. So I didn't really have to pay anything besides my E&O insurance. I think that's the only thing I had to pay. So I was able to quickly earn capital without spending a lot and learn quickly.
Like,
Yeah.
do you think that it could be a good situation
Yeah.
for being on a team? I think it can. I think it's just you have to interview the right people, see who they are, and see if they're really going to make the most out of you because it's not all about just
No,
giving you leads. I'm sorry, people. A lot of people believe that. They think it's all about, oh, do you give leads? Oh, why am I paying that much because you don't give leads? It doesn't matter because team leaders, what they can do and what I've seen before is they could just give you Facebook leads. The conversion's 3%.
not
You'll
even,
get thousands of leads and
Facebook
you won't
leads
convert.
is like 1.5% conversion.
There you go, 1.5%. And then you feel like you're busy and really you're not. So interview, talk about conversion. Like, don't just jump on the first one. Like, have a conversation about it. Ask them their background, how they got started in the business, because some people
I
just
think
had a huge budget or a
I
credit
agree with
card.
you. There's when you
Yeah,
understand the team model a little bit more, you understand it. And I think there's 2 types of agent. Like, that's why I said at the beginning of this, there is no answer. We can't tell you a team is better, it's not. It depends, right? Because
on
there's
you.
2
It
types
depends
of
on you.
agents, and you have to figure out sometimes through trial and error, retro in or and a lot of time you don't know in retrospective, you have to figure out which one you are. Are you the kind who wants to work with a team and share roles and share towards a common goal? You probably work on it would be great on a team. If you're the kind of guy that like a lot of us, I got into real estate to make my own hours and do run my own business, be an entrepreneur. You probably don't want to go to a team because guess what? They're going to hold you accountable because they're paying for you. That team leader, you're an investment in the team leader. You're not a direct employee, but you're an extension of that team leader. You're not your own business at that point. So I think like someone like me doesn't fit well on a team. but I definitely know of a lot that are. And it's weird because neither of us fit on a team, so it's a little hard to fight for the side of the team. So playing devil's advocate, who fits on a team? Like, you know, I think there's two types, right? There's the
I think yeah. Somebody who wants to be an employee and somebody that wants to be on their own. And it just goes down as simple as that. If you're too scared to be on your own and you need somebody to hold you accountable and you're looking for a company or a team that's going to do that, go down that path. If you can hold yourself down and make sure you're generating
I would
opportunities
much
for yourself,
rather
then stay
find
on your
another
own.
solo agent or 2, not even in your market. Like, heck, I'm in Pennsylvania, you're in Florida. Like, it role play and hold each other accountable. I'd much rather do that than be on a team. I honestly, I think there's gonna be somebody out there. This might not be everybody, but there's gonna be somebody out there, like, listening to this going, "I can't afford it. I'm gonna go broke." If it's the option between join a team and leave real estate, I say join a team. I
Right.
It's either that or you're meant to be on it. If your personality is better, if somebody tells you what to do and you do it, you're good on a team. If you
And it's not just new agents neither, right? It's also agents that have been in the business for a year or 2 and you haven't seen an increase in your production, you should probably reconsider your options and maybe just join a team for a year and see what you learn from that, and then take that
I think a
and then
majority
just
of it comes from
keep on
learning
doing it.
though. Yeah, like you brought up a good point, Will. When you said, talk to the team leader, that I got nom flashbacks because 'cause I'm like, "I wish I would have done that." Because I
Me
thought
too.
when I was joining a team, "Oh, I'm gonna get leads. Oh, I'm gonna get taught what to do." And yeah, you get some leads or whatever, but you're not joining it's not it shouldn't be the main reason you join a team. The main reason you should join a team is to learn, to be better. So you ultimately, if a team leader is doing their job, they teach you to be self-sufficient and you eventually leave after 5, 6 years. Yeah, there are lifers, but
Yeah.
so pick a team leader you wanna be like. Don't just pick anyone that's paying more money.
Yes, yeah. I think that's the best thing to think about because, like, I had a team lead, he's a great guy or whatever, we still talk a little bit, but he basically he didn't reflect me. He reflected a different kind of agent. He liked buying leads and converting them. I like looking for opportunities. That's me. So you have to figure out, are you the type of person that likes looking for business? Or are you the type of person that's okay with getting things sent to you? And there's nothing wrong with either one. It just depends on what's relatable to you. Or if you want to be an open house queen or
Yeah.
king, right? You have to find that person
I
that's the
am
queen or king in your market that does
reluctant
open
to even
houses.
say this part. Um, so I'll
Say it.
I'm
You have to
reluctant to
say it
say it,
now.
but I'm gonna say it, right? Is sometimes it's not the team. Sometimes you need like a change in scenery as a whole. If your expenses are too high, you either look at it because ultimately, what do you need to make it in real estate? I don't know about you. My expenses are higher now, but when I started in real estate, I paid for a CRM, a dialer, and leads. Or not even a dialer, a phone in the beginning. So like your real estate's minimal. So if you feel like you're paying a lot, it might not be team versus solo agent. It might be a brokerage question too. I won't say any specifics, but there might be another episode
Right.
coming up eventually.
That could be an
It's off
option too.
topic. That's why I
How
said
about
I'm
this, Mike?
reluctant to say it, but I mean,
I was thinking about this just now. So let's say you're about to transition out of a team and you're going to single agent. How is that like, and what opportunities can you set yourself up to for success in that transition?
so yeah, the transition, right, is so you join the team when the time comes on that team, which is where we're going with this, that you're not learning enough and getting enough value to make that split worth it, you would need to go solo. So the first thing I do is start on your own brand. You spent so much time building your team leader's brand. You need your friends, your family, your neighbors, everybody to know your face and know that you're a real estate agent. It's really the first thing. Well,
Right.
so yeah,
Don't be a
our
secret
first
agent.
episode was about outbound prospecting. Maybe we'll do. we're gonna do an episode in the future about our first years in real estate and how to set your first year up for success. Um, Even if you're not in your first year, you can listen to that in the future. But really, like, it comes back to that. Go back to it doesn't matter if you've been licensed for 5 years. If you've been on a team and you're going solo for your first time, you're really starting for your first year. Yeah, so the first thing you need to do is go through your phone, find everybody, call them, and tell them about your transition. I think that's the very first thing you should do. I don't know if that's the route you're looking at, Will, but, like,
No, that's a great point. That's one really important thing to do. What I was I'm thinking about more is like the
oh,
expenses and how much you're gonna actually spend. No, but that's okay. That's perfect what you said. So one thing I think about is when you're on a team, you're probably gonna have a transaction coordinator. A lot of people don't know this, but a transaction coordinator, I don't think I've ever done paperwork, to be honest. I could defend myself, right, at this point in my
I
business, but I've hired a transaction coordinator from the get-go. And the reason for that is because in most cases, you're paying them at the end of the transaction, and if the transaction doesn't go through,
I'll
you're not
tell
paying them
you
anything.
what I
So,
do.
it's
I
really
I
no
didn't
loss.
know, so I did my first couple deals without a transaction coordinator, and like you, after 3rd or 4th, I figured it out. You you pay them per file, you don't pay them hourly or anything like that. I actually charge that to my buyer, so my percentage plus whatever my transaction coordination fee is.
And that depends on state
Yeah,
too,
I would look
so,
into that.
guess
It
talk to your
This
broker
isn't
in your
legal advice,
states 'cause that
but
can always
those
happen.
are
Yeah.
options. Or Will said, you can pay him and have it come out of your commission at the end of it. It People look at a transaction coordinator like you have to pay him a salary. That would be my first step to set you up for success too. To build your life.
So that's one thing. The next thing you have to decide is how you're gonna generate opportunities for yourself so you can keep on feeding the machine. So, and I guess we could talk on a
Mhm.
couple free ones. For sale by owners is one, right? Because 'Cause they're on Zillow, their phone number's there, sometimes even their email is there. Then you also have,
For sale by owner
open
and open
houses.
houses.
Open houses are
Where
a
So
great
you
way.
mentioned, let's
Yeah.
go back and maybe we're delving right back into the first year in real estate. I really think that's a good episode. I'm gonna write that down. We're gonna do that next. But
We should do that one.
well, you know,
Yeah.
my first couple of deals, just like you, came from my sphere. I called people I know and they gave me referrals, and then one of them actually was looking to buy and sell. So, like, I got 3 deals right out the jump, like, just by calling people on my phone and saying, "Good news, I'm in real estate." And somebody said, "Oh, yeah, my coworker's looking to sell." Bam. "Oh, hey, I'm actually looking to upgrade." Awesome. Sale, buy. There would be 3 deals right off the gate. I think that's where you should start, but yeah, like, we're big on outbound prospecting. You don't need to spend a lot. I don't know. What I was going in a big circle there. I forgot where I started that conversation, but, like,
No, you
the
started
open
at a
house
good
thing
point. You
is
said,
what I was about to
the
say.
sphere, open houses.
Doesn't have to be
A
your
lot of
listing.
people don't know this,
I
but
get
you
a
could
lot
do
of new agents.
Yep.
Sorry,
I was
Will.
gonna say
I need
gonna say that.
we're on the
No, we're
same
thinking
page.
we're on the
Yeah,
same
like,
wavelength,
I get a
bro.
lot of new agents that come in and they're like, "I don't know what to do," and I go, "Oh, go hold an open house." "What are you doing on Sunday?" "Nothing." "Hold an open house." "I don't have any listings." You know what I did when I first started? I did I hold 2 open houses every single weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And how did I find those? I just talked to bigger agents. I sent out in a blast email to my office, "Hey, looking to hold an open house." I called them because when you're at the level, like, I'll use me as an example because now I pay it forward. I let newer agents hold my open houses. When you're at this level, like, if I'm carrying 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 listings, I don't have time to do open houses myself, nor do I want. So I'm gonna give those out. That What about you, Will? Sorry, but,
So,
like,
that's 100%. Yeah, we are on the same path. We're on the same, note here, but, what I was gonna say was, who said you had to hold 2?
oh, you don't have to.
Right? You don't have to do just Saturday, Sunday. You could do morning and afternoon Saturday, morning, afternoon, Sunday. Because then at that point, those are gonna be your 2 big lead generation days. You can even host one on Friday as well. You don't
I
have
knew
to
a
do
newer
just the
agent that
weekend,
held them on
maybe Friday.
Wednesdays, and it worked.
sometimes those are the best times to do them. And then that's free opportunities, and it's face to face a lot of people miss out on. So if you're going to plan to like switch out of a team, I think those are like the top 3 opportunities. Oh, one last thing before you interrupt me, Mike, just kidding. What about signs? And a lot of people mess this up with open houses. Here's a huge tip for you. Put out a ton
Could
of
swear.
signs, lots, like a lot of
It's
signs.
a
Like,
show.
huh? I
Well, you
curse? Oh, it's 2023, I curse now, I won't get in trouble. Put out a shit ton of signs, a lot, because the thing a lot of agents, what they'll do is they'll put it on the MLS, and they're like, "Oh,
they put
only
one
agents came
sign
by,"
in the
and
front
they put
yard.
one sign.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, of course the agents are gonna be the only ones that come. You wanna attract people off the street.
You
That is the whole point of it.
know
15, 20,
$30 in a
30
Facebook
signs,
ad.
you'll kill it.
Get some go
You'll kill it.
to dude, How to Hold a Mega Open House is a good episode title too. Right?
We're just coming up with
Yeah, I'm
episodes right
coming up with
now.
episodes right now as we speak. But, like, here's a breakdown of very simply, like Will said, I put out 35, 40 signs, like, when I held them. Went to Dollar Tree, they're a dollar per balloon, I buy 100 balloons, 100 bucks. You put those on all the signs, you put them all through the house, you make it an event. In fact, I actually all those wacky waving
Spectacle.
inflatable arm flailing tube gun.
No,
I
you
bought one
didn't.
of those that
No,
was
you
wearing a
didn't.
suit, and I put a big sign that said "Open a
Oh my
house" with
god.
him flailing in the front yard. Like, the draw of people you want
That's
because
crazy.
the open house isn't just for buyers looking to buy the house. The neighbors are gonna see that, and they're gonna come.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You're
yep,
interviewing for
but
the neighbors, right?
we'll bring this back.
So, those are some great strategies, yeah. We're
We
going
just
down the
love
open
lead
house,
generation, Will,
strategy.
don't we? But,
Yeah, yeah, we do.
so team
But,
versus team versus
oh, wow.
solo, in your opinion,
Yeah.
and again, this is everything we're talking about is opinionated, but somebody's listening to this, they're solo, or they just got their license and they haven't even started selling. They're saying, "Do I go solo or do I start?" Like, where do you honestly think? Like, what's your advice?
If
Yeah,
they're new,
they're brand new.
you have to if you're brand new and you're on a budget and you need to do something quick and you don't know what you're doing and you're
Yep.
lost, join a team. If you have a family member or somebody that's gonna take you under their wing and you know you're gonna convert or you already have somebody in the pipeline
Mhm.
waiting for you to get your license, be a single agent and see what happens. And just know that you have to hold yourself every single day to finding business and don't give up on it. Don't just sit back and wait. You Same thing if you're on the team. Don't just sit back and wait because some teams will make you do that because you're getting leads in the
Yeah,
pipeline. So it just depends on your personal situation.
I
I don't
agree
know. What do you
100%.
think?
There isn't a one size fits all situation, but like if you're listening to this and you're like, so you can be in many scenarios. It's hard to tell. Nobody's situation's the same, right? But I think it makes sense to join a team if you're a new agent, you don't like lead generation. If you want like just inbound leads coming to you and you don't care about it, like you're willing to give up that extra percentage for less stress. You don't want to run a business. You just want to help somebody else build it. Yeah, makes sense. Or you're dead broke. I mean, I honestly think that's a coin flip. I think if you're broke and you're not willing to work your ass off, I'd rather see you join a team and become, you don't want to be dependent on the team leader, but I'd rather see you join the team and become dependent on the team leader than quit. But if you're broke and you
Correct.
trust in yourself to work, I'd still say go solo. I'm a little biased, but
Yeah.
I think you need both.
Here's the thing you could do. Here's the thing you could do. If you're really focusing on a team, do it for a year. See what happens, reassess at the end of the year, and then go solo. If everything went well for you that first year with the team and you learned a lot, then go solo. If you don't feel comfortable going solo and you like the team atmosphere, you like being around people, you want to have that employee mentality, stay on the team. There's nothing wrong. There's no right answer
That's
here.
what makes
At
this
the end
so
of the
hard,
day,
man.
it's all personal. super personal, super personal. I think the best thing we could
Mhm,
do is share our stories and then make you make that decision at the end of the day because everybody's decision is different. Everybody's situation is different. We might be talking on here and there might be somebody with a full blown 6 children, an army of kids and they need money right away or a cash injection right away. It might be a different situation for that kind of person, or it could be a 21-year-old that's
mhm.
living with his parents. Might be a different situation for that person too. So it's just a lot of things to look at when you're deciding between
We
the
need
team
both,
and becoming
though.
a
Like,
single
there's
agent.
nothing wrong with either decision. I think I want because we're both solo agents, I feel like we're leaning a little bit more towards solo agents. So I don't want for context, if you are leaning towards joining a team, we don't want to make it sound like you're making the wrong decision. It might be not the right decision for me, but for you, and that's the purpose behind it. I think we need both. Well, like, I
But one distinction you could look at is if you're lead generating already, if you're finding
yeah,
business already,
where do you
then
leads
make yourself uncomfortable and be on your own,
do you wanna
you
make
know?
phone calls and lead gen and worry about expenses, or do you not? But, I think we need both. Not everybody can I look at it as a distinction like this, right? If you look at any company in the world, there is there is the entrepreneurs and there is the regular 9 to 5 employees. The world needs employees. Nothing wrong.
Yeah, of course.
Eh,
With that.
just
Not at
the
all.
CEO isn't necessarily better than the, em
Dude, if you're making a 50-50 split and you're making 6 figures, I wouldn't
that's a good
care.
way to look
You know
at
what
it.
I
What's your
mean?
end goal?
No, seriously.
I
Yeah,
think ask yourself that. If you
right,
are leaning towards joining a team, is it temporary or is it permanent? Because if you're just like, "Hey, should I join a team?" and you
right.
Googled how to "should I join a team?" because whatever, yeah.
And we popped
Like, I
you're
remember
just kidding.
doing that. When I first started, I'm like, "Should
Right.
I join a team?" I remember Tom Ferry or somebody showed up, and it didn't answer a question, but if that's you, ask yourself, like, what's the end goal? Because if you're just like, "Should I join a team?" You're looking at the short term, you're not looking at the long term. What's your long
Maybe looking at joining a team rather than just like a team and the splits. Look at it as what are you willing to pay for mentorship
most
and free
mentorship
coaching,
I found
essentially.
came free, though. Like, you guys can reach out to us, and we can help you. Screw it.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, to be honest. Or another option is
That too.
hiring a coach
We're
too.
not coaches.
That's what led me believe it or not, that's what led me down the path of single agent, is hiring a coach. You know why? Because I skipped years of business, learning by myself, and that really, really helped me take a step forward in my business, and now I'm like, I'm ahead of my a lot of people now, like brokers even. Sometimes I talk to brokers and I'm like, "You've been in the business how long?" 12 years. "Oh, did you know this? Did you know that? Oh, no, I had no idea. Oh, this,
The
that. Oh,
number of
wow,
how
you
long
really,
you've been in
how do
business
you know this?"
for, it means nothing. You can be in business for 15 years, but if you
Right,
repeat your first year 15 times, it means nothing, right? Like, so where are you gonna
right.
learn, where you're gonna grow?
100%.
What's the best for you? I don't know. I don't know if there's
Right.
more we can talk about there. I think we could just end this episode here. We're gonna leave you with that question. Look at yourself, look at where you're going. Where are you gonna best fit? Where are you gonna provide value to your community? That's it. Are you good at one thing and one thing
Yeah, I
only, or are
think
you
that's
more of a jack of all trades? I think that really some
do you need help? Do you need help in your business? Do you need accountability? Do you not? Do you feel like you're self-sufficient? Do you not feel self-sufficient? Giving it a try doesn't
you
hurt either,
choose to go
So
solo,
just go for it.
you feel free to reach out to us and let us know what other topics you want to see as well, of course. Or reach out to us directly. We're here to talk. I mean, we're in
We talk to agents all
any
the time anyway,
brokerage
right,
work.
Mike? All the
If
time
an agent
about this.
comes up to me, like I remember, I'll share this story real quick. I know we're trying to wrap it off. I remember first starting and being in my first brokerage and going up to some of the bigger people and them like shying away, like hiding their paperwork, closing their laptop. Like afraid that I'm going to steal business from them, which is a part of talking to local agents. But I feel like 98% of real estate agents, unless you get an absolute jerk, is if you ask them for help, they're going to give it to you. Most of us have a kind heart. I just feel like there's some they're not. So just ask. What's the worst that happens? If they say no, go ask somebody else. No, that's how I learned a
Right.
lot of it. Like, and I've helped so many agents because I pay that forward. There has been people who gave me free mentorship and free advice in the beginning. Now, when people come up to me and say, "Hey, Mike, what should I do? I'm a new agent," or "I'm not a new agent. I need to do this," I just help. I don't know. That would be my. I don't know where I'm going with that, but you want to end off you want to end this episode off?
Sure, I'll finish it since,
Hey,
you didn't know where you're going with that. Just
the-
kidding. Anyways, guys, listen, at the end of the day, like Mike says, it's up to you and your certain situation that you're in. A team might be a great fit for you. Single agent might be a good fit for you. Whatever you do is not the wrong answer. It just depends on your situation. And I hope this podcast helped you maybe get some distinctions or understandings on what the differences are. Like Mike said, if you need anything, you can reach out to me, William Rojas, or Smuts. Um, at any time, and we'd be happy to have any conversations with you. If it's, if you want to talk about
the-
splits and what they're offering, and then you want us to get an opinion on it, we'll be happy to do so. And thank you for tuning in, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of
Adios,
your week.
everyone.